Hey, hey, how you doing, bro?
Good, buddy. How are you?
All right, thank you. Good morning. Bright and early.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Hang on a second. I've got chaos in the cat front. It's okay. Oh, right. Yes, good. So you slept well. Awesome. Welcome to whatever day it is. What is it? For God's sake, Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday
Yes.
already. Good. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. So not on the best of bouncy moods, but there's no reason to be down or anything. There's no reason to be depressed because actually it's kind of all good in a way because it's happening for a reason. And the universe is saying, well, we're just going to put these things in your way, so you've got some decisions to make this weekend.
There you go, man.
Okay,
That's
well,
a
that's
that's a way
fine.
to look at it. Yeah.
That's okay. And whatever we take, and we've made some good decisions, we've made some bad ones in the past, as we all have. And if this is a good one, fine. If it's a bad one, that's also fine. It's never killed us.
It's all part of the journey, man. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, if I've got a frustration, it's that I haven't been able to push the online piece as much as I wanted to.
Well,
Uh, it's just kind of,
that'll come in time. When the time is right to do that.
yeah, exactly.
But you got
Anyway,
better
so
days.
that's kind of where we're. Oh, it's got to be like that, Scott. Because
Yeah.
look, there are so many people worse off than you and I, and there are so many people.
Yeah. You're
And,
right.
so grateful for what we have here. I mean, I look at
We're
what we
not
have.
Syrian. you know.
Exactly.
We're not
And
Syrian. Uh,
and and part of me when I got the valuation for the house, it's kind of, oh, I'm a bit disappointed. It's like, Mike, for fuck's sake, that the equity in the house is more than most people would have in their life, kind of thing. Not in their life,
yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In terms of, it's like, yeah. And we saw a quote. It was on. I think it's a series watching last night or the night before, and it said, I don't know how true this is, but it was relevant to you and I. It said, only 15% of Americans have enough money to fund the first year of retirement. That was a stat. Now, whether it's made up or not, even if it's 25% or even
No,
it's
I mean
30%,
it's really that
fuck.
bad. It is that bad,
So
right?
let's be grateful for what we have, and the equity and the intellectual knowledge that you and I particularly have, and well, I include all of us in that, that we can give to the world is huge. So if we have one frustration, it's not being able to give as much to the world as we want to, and that's the pain in the ass because it's like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday, I did a sit lead session with my two clients, the CEO and the COO. I just started with last month, and it was just lovely. About 2.5 hours it was in the end, and it was just fantastic. And their little faces, and they understood that. Oh man, this is some skills we can use today, and I just want to do that as you do. So many more people, and that's where our
Yeah.
online space comes in. So
There's so many avatars that bounce around in my head. I was,
totally,
as you know, the list right now is mostly people I think that are
yeah.
facing some kind of a retirement crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're not taking action because they're not the kind of people up here that will take the action.
Right.
But I still want to help those people because that's me. That was me,
Totally,
when
totally.
I decided to get off my ass and do something different in life. And so I've been going over how can I help these people? If they're in that state, I have to meet them there. I can't just expect them to wake up one morning and have the courage to take that first step.
Yeah.
How do I get them there? Or if they never take that step, what can I do knowing what I know today to make their life a little bit better?
I think that's
So,
amazing.
I've been talking about this philanthropy project that I
Yeah.
want to get going here, and I want to talk to the Chamber of Commerce director about this too. And I'm actually going to start building out a page on this website
Brilliant.
about this project. And originally I was thinking take underemployed and unemployed people and teach them how to write blog posts, and do a little bit of freelancing and start teaching them online skills so they can bootstrap their way out of their situation and make the resources and the training available free until they reach a certain point and they can launch
Brilliant.
their own business,
Yep.
right? Why could I not offer the same thing to retirees who are on a fixed income? What it's going to require is a little bit of my time each week to get people in a room and coach them through what to do, right? And I think if, first of all, I could galvanize a lot of local business support around a project like that, especially when I'm trying to propose to these businesses that are resource strapped, that they need to take on content marketing and email marketing and social media management and all these things in their business, and they're going, we don't have the bandwidth to do that. Well, what if you could employ, these people to do that?
That's brilliant. That's
so
that makes total sense. Yeah.
So to your point, it's about getting out of my problem set and start thinking about other people's problem sets.
You're right, and giving like that is really, really, I mean, it's extremely powerful, and I think, we've certainly done, it's not like that, but similar when we've given and done presentations. We've held loads of workshops and free stuff and everything, and it means so much to people because it's like, wow, they're giving the time for free here, and has that come back? Yes, of course it has. I don't do it with the intention of getting anything back. It's because I want to give, and that's exactly where you're coming from. But in the future, they remember that, and you think they don't tell their friends. Of course they do.
Yeah.
You need to come along to Scott's session because Scott just taught me some shit that I didn't know. It's so easy, and that's amazing. It's inspired me to do something, and just taking some action will give them that confidence because, if we know retirement, we know that the money's not endless, and for those people who maybe have cashed in or whatever it might be, who haven't got it there, they've got to be really careful about where they spend it, and I get that.
Yeah.
And there's so many people, unfortunately, ready to take advantage of that. It's happened to me in the past. So that skepticism is always going to be there. So the only way to build your trust is by giving tremendous amount of value with no expectations of return. And that's, I did it this afternoon with a couple of clients, and just to give, I gave 45 minutes of coaching time to go. I didn't charge. They said, "Oh, are you going to bill us for this?" I said, "Absolutely not. No, because I can see you're in trouble, and you're helping me fulfill my purpose." I generally will say that now, but because it just helps, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. So yeah, it's the right thing to do, Scott. Partly. Now, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only caveat I'd say to that, which is where I started from, my thought process was, you've got to again, we've got to make sure our oxygen mask is secure before we're helping others. And of course, neither of us are really in that position where we're going, hey, it doesn't fucking matter what I do. It's I can give everything, because what happens is you'll end up, as we did, I remember 3 years ago when I looked around at the pipeline, it was May, I remember vividly, and looking at the whiteboard here, and it's empty. It's like, what the fuck? Well, we've been doing all these presentations, all these workshops, and giving, which is great, but we haven't done any business development, and we haven't got anything in. So you've got to, it's kind of not like growing broke. It's kind of, giving yourself until you're broke. That's not the purpose. That's not what the universe is about. It's not about giving you nothing. It's kind of, you understand what I'm saying? It's kind of.
I do, and that's it. That's a lesson that I've had to learn. I think I found myself in real estate doing that, where it's like you want to help people so bad, and you want to solve problems so bad, and you want people to like you so much that you start underselling your value to other people. And I've caught myself doing that in this business too. So where do you find that balance between meeting someone where they're at to help them solve a problem that's affordable for them, without selling yourself short, because you got to make a living. That's a little bit like these workshops that I'm putting together. If I put 6 or 7 people in the seats that day, and I can only do this twice a month, and that's my main source of income,
Yeah.
What do I have to charge for that? Well, if that number is too big for the people who would be the people in the seat, how else can I monetize the activity so that I can meet them, at that place that's affordable for them, while at the same time taking care of my own financial needs? So, I've been juggling those balls too, and I think you are too in your coaching business. Like,
Totally. Totally.
it's like, well, my services as currently priced are out of reach for some of these people. What could I do to offer them my services at a price they could afford and still not, just hurt myself financially?
Yeah, kind of reduce costs for me and reduce costs for them and add tremendous value. That's the trick, and certainly what I'm learning with the blue ocean kind of mindset. It's kind of, how do I do that? And I was sitting waiting for my client yesterday afternoon, and I just stood there doing some calculations, realized that I could add tremendous value. The number was something like $200 and something per month will give them everything that I'd normally kind of charge for. So Inometrics, 5 dysfunctions, surveys of the company, all that kind of stuff. But actually, it doesn't really cost. It's incremental. It doesn't really cost me a great deal. But what costs is my time.
Yeah.
And giving them 30 minutes of my time, a bit like I did today. I covered a lot of ground. I cover a lot. Cover a lot of ground in 30 minutes. So, if I was to charge, I don't know what it was. Let's say it's $200 for the sake of argument, or $199. That would give them half an hour with me every month, plus all these other tools. That's kind of really attractive. And then suddenly I've got to multiply that, because it becomes a numbers game. But then to those people who can't afford it, as you just said, like Antoine, like Frank, like the other guy I've forgotten. Oh, Manaxi, that's the other lady's name. 3 of them have all kind of barfed a little bit. And it's because they're where they are in their business. Well, if I say to them, well, look, it's going to cost you about $200 a month, could you do that? Well, yeah, of course I can, as opposed to $1,000,
Right.
which is roughly what it is. So, and by the way, you don't have to travel. We'll do it via Zoom. If you do want to meet me, we'll meet down at the Marriott here in my community where I can walk to it, and so it's not inconvenient. So it's kind of a win-win-win, So, and that's, I think you're right. It's how do we reach the people that need us? And
yeah,
I've said for long enough, and a lot of years, I've said the big companies, they shouldn't fucking need us. They shouldn't need us to help with coaching, and they need help with the HR policies. And Claire's made 6 people, in the process of negotiating, 6 people redundant today. I mean, business is tough, yeah? In one company, 40% of the workforce. And and actually this is very interesting. The reason they're going is because they want to shift from, they're a tech company. They want to move from manpower to technology. And here we go. It's right in front of us here. He's working on it this afternoon for 3 hours. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, 40% of the workforce because of automation, because of technology.
Well, and we certainly empathize with that. Just the loss of jobs. But businesses are going that way because that's where technology is leading all of us. So, it's one thing to be empathetic about that situation, but it is the reality that's driving so much of the social change and the economic change that we're already realizing, and we're going to realize, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, absolutely.
The projection of 800 million jobs lost or affected to AI and automation by 2020?
I think 2030. I think
2030.
I can't remember now, Scott. We must look at but it's horrendous.
Yeah, it's fair to say that there'll be new jobs created, but we don't even know what those look like.
No, we don't. And
people in college are training for jobs today that don't even exist.
And even the jobs for life, and it came to me this afternoon because I was looking into the visa situation in Thailand, and you've got to report every 90 days. And I know I've had that feedback before. It's a pain in the arse. Every 3 months, you've got to take your passport and stuff to the immigration office and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's job creation, really. It's kind of, well, now you don't have to do that because guess what? You do it online. And guess what? It's all automatically verified. It's not. So another example of where jobs for life, which is the ministries and these, all the government jobs. Here's a classic. 6 people to do one job. They're all coming in. uh, and I'm not sure there's enough online space for everyone to be doing something, but it's about how the hell do we help people, really find their genius and what they should have been doing in this life as opposed to the bullshit rules they've been living. So
Yeah.
um, it's, we're at an interesting time of life, Scott.
Yeah, we
because
sure are.
people look to us. When I spoke to that 29-year-old in that Manjai the other week, and she was talking about how she hated the corporate world because this is how it was treating. There's no empathy, blah 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 blah. And is this how it really is, or is there hope? And I was giving her the hope. Yes, of course, there's hope. It took me a while to wake up to it, but you've woken up at 29 years old. I'm a little bit older than you, and she was going, oh yeah, it's amazing. Oh God, talking to someone like you, it's just like, and it's not just me, Scott. It's you. It's the rest of our generation who have woken up and can help. But I'm finding it very frustrating at the moment. And again, it comes back to the same thing. How do we freaking get our message out there much more effective than we're doing right now? Because I'm getting really pissed off with places like Facebook, just because it's so cluttered with stuff. And it's like, how do I get my message through that? That noise. I'm really quite concerned about it. So it's like, what's next? So anyway.
I think that's where we can do better in terms of social listening. This comes to mind because just this morning I'm going through Digital Marketers course on the social social management stuff. And Russ talks about social listening, as one of the 4 key quadrants.
Yep.
I put up 5, but it's 4 key quadrants
yep.
to social media management. And, you can find anything on social media. It's maybe it's just another, what's the word I'm looking at? It's just another example, I guess, of really the world and law of attraction. If you're somebody who's out there looking for negativity and whatever, you can find it on social media. It's there. Exactly. If you're someone like you and I who's looking to serve people, it's just a matter of learning how to find those people on social media. And I don't think either of us could claim 100% expertise on that right now. We're like a lot of folks just learning. But those are those cravings that we have to get that message out there and help people and nurture those that we feel like we're here to serve. I totally understand the frustration.
It's resonating. Absolutely.